Goodies for them. So if you ever feel like you're asking a question in the middle and somebody deserves something, then you can just tell us and we'll hand them like a pen or something. We can unmute them.
Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome to day 2 of CSS Practice. So, as you all know, today we have with us our very own ex-alumni, Mr. Kaushik Murli. Kaushik currently works. Kaushik currently works as a product designer at Onjuno, a financial technology company based in San Francisco. With 5 years of industry experience, he has been eyeing a profession in design since his first year. Today, he is here with us to share his story and experiences with all of us. So please put your hand together and give a warm welcome to our speaker for today, Mr. Kaushik Murli.
Okay, awesome. I'm just used to saying this on Zoom calls. It feels very weird to be in person. I think all the talks that I've given, like in the past few years, have always been on the Zoom call, me being behind the screen. Yeah, but it feels great to be in a university again, seeing people. It's I think I graduated in 2020, and after that, this is like the first office I'm doing like in person. So yeah, it feels great to be here. Super happy that all of you are here after your college hours to like apparently I know a bit about design, so I'm going to tell you what designing is and what industry is like and everything. So yeah, let's get started. I'll actually start by introducing myself. Hi, I'm Kaushal. So I actually currently work as a product designer at Onchuno. So what does Onchuno do? Onchuno is basically a banking and crypto platform, which enables people to live crypto native lifestyle. And what is like a crypto native lifestyle? It starts from you taking your salary in crypto and then spending that crypto and then you're getting your cash back in crypto. Right? So that's really what I do at Onchuno. And yeah, another thing about me is that I run a podcast where I bring in really good designers and product managers and talk to them about their stories, their journey, and the challenges that they face with their work, etc. So one fact actually, I don't know if it's visible. These two are actually from PS. I studied in the same batch with them. One is working in Misho now, and the other one is running her own company. I also run a YouTube channel. I recently started it. So yeah, that's pretty much about me. Let's get to this session today, right? How are we going about this? So before I go into that, just a show of hands, how many of you how many are from first year? Oh, okay, second year, third, there's I'm guessing of fourth years. Busy getting jobs. Cool. Yeah, let's get to this. When you look at this image, what comes to your mind? Anything off the top of your head? Yeah, so it looks not like this hall, but but basically it's like a lecture, and that's something I don't want to do, right? I don't want to come here and talk about all the things related to design and then just leave, right? That's not what I want to do. I don't want it to be a lecture, right? Probably because I personally never attended lectures when I was in college, and so I'm not very good at giving them either. So, but how am I going about this, right? So what I really want to do is something gets interesting for me when there's something like a story involved. And at the same time, I want to keep interacting with all of you, right? I want to keep interacting with each one of you. I'll keep asking questions and all these things. So that's really how I want to go about this. And there's there's another thing, right? There's no such thing as a stupid answer or anything. So just feel free to talk at any point in time. Yeah, it's really going to be about stories and interactions. So what about questions? So I'm going to take the questions in the end. I think pretty much all of you have already got this. It's a Slido link where you can ask questions, where you can upload which question you would preferably want to ask and everything. And I'll try to answer the best I can. Cool. So there are two things which I want you all to keep in mind throughout this session. Right? Two concepts which I really like. Do anyone of you know this guy? You can also tell his name. Okay. Yeah. Oh, his name is already there. I didn't realize. Okay, but there's something called as the snowball effect. So that's the first thing I want you to remember. And I'm going to get to it. I'm going to talk about what snowball effect is. And the other thing is something called as unfair advantage. This is something I recently came across, and I just love this concept. So yeah, let's get to it. Are there any photographers? Okay, oh, awesome! A lot of creative people in the crowd. Great. So my design journey kind of started with photography. And how did it start with photography? If whenever you click a photo, you're thinking about the composition, you're thinking about where the light source is from, how is the final image going to look, right? And that is again still a form of art, right? And for me, photography, where it played a very key role in my design journey is Photoshop and so these like extremely intimidating softwares from Adobe, right? Actually, like when I started, like, using Photoshop and everything, it was mostly for editing images, and I didn't even know like most of the things there. So I used to pretty much pick this right column and keep editing like until like something looked good. And it's only later I understood like things like what is saturation, what is like hue, and all these things. Which all, I mean, if you are ever designing, it plays like a huge role. But at the same time, it was really about learning how to use a tool, right? Because as much as there are so many things in design, apart from the tool, the tools are still the ones which help you execute whatever design that you want to make, right? And somehow this kind of became like an unfair advantage. So let me talk about what unfair advantage is. Unfair advantage is like the skill that you have, which is like unique to you, right? It's unique to your talent. So let me try to explain this with an example. Today, if you wanted to start like a YouTube channel, and let's say it's probably one of you who are like photographer or videographers, you have this unfair advantage where you already know how to produce videos, right? Or if you're someone who is like a good public speaker, or if you're someone who's like a teacher, you already have that unfair advantage where you can explain concepts in a very simple manner, right? So how this whole unfair advantage is explained through Mine's framework. So what is Mine's framework? Basically, it's money, intelligence, location, and luck, and education and status. So how do you define from like a money perspective? So today you all want to be like a designer. You would probably like if you have like a lot of money to spare, you would just go buy like best course possible and try to become design, right? That becomes suddenly your unfair advantage. Or if like I'm sure like everyone in this room was pretty smart. At least in my case, like getting to years was like a pretty tough thing. So I'm sure like everyone here is like smart and like intelligent. And best thing is location and luck, right? And I think anyone today who wants to be a designer or who just wants to be involved in like the startup ecosystem in any way, you're just like extremely lucky because you're in Bangalore, right? The brightest and the best designers are in Bangalore today, and you can easily learn from them anywhere you want. And again, education. So I personally believe this that engineers make great product designers, and I'll get to like the part as to why I believe so. Yeah, so that is pretty much like about what unfair advantage is. And it always really kind of started with just the tools, right? So I was trying out photography, I think back when I was like in ninth standard or something, like when I was still in school. And when I really wanted to actually move into design, I already knew some of these tools, right? And it's really just about starting and you gotta start somewhere, especially when it comes to design, because like a lot of things, design is extremely vast, right? What do I mean by design is vast? There are just so many different things in design, and it will take you some time before you understand what is it that you like. So coming to different types of design. So there's first graphic design. Usually these are people who are involved with working with growth teams or marketing teams to create posters, banners, ads, etc. And if you know how ads or all these Google ads, Facebook ads work, you know how much of a difference it makes just being a good graphic designer, right? And actually, let's talk bit more about graphic design. Has anyone talked about console? Yeah. Have you seen the creatives like any of them marketing creatives? Like the probably Instagram posts.
The Frijesh Kulkarni.
Uh,
They had a marketing campaign where they put up posters of in loving memory of Frijesh Kulkarni.
okay, I'm not aware of this, but I'm sure they have a reputation to be extremely quality with their designs and their marketing and design in general, right? That is great graphic designing, right? So let's another form of design is like game design. This is slightly away. This is where like any gamers in the house. Okay. So all the 3D elements which are there in like games, all those things are done by someone like people who design for games. And the next thing is illustrators. Are there anyone like who likes sketching? Yeah, so see, if you enjoy sketching, illustration is also a great career path because like today there's so much demand for illustrators because there's so few of them and very few of them are actually good. So illustrators is like another career option. And then there is brand design, right? This is everything that involves from like starting to pick like what color is that you want your brand or product to like creating like the logo, to creating like the whole brand guidelines and stuff has to how it should look. So like one of the things which I've actually really admired about TVS is that TVS has great brand guidelines. Like I never got like terrible OCD coming and looking at designs at TVS because they always ensure like they have good branding, right? So that's like one example. And another example is motion design, which is somewhat like 2D animation. Most of these motion designs are actually made in this tool called After Effects. Again, it's a software from Adobe. Probably like the first time you use it, it will feel like extremely overwhelming, but it's like an amazing tool to create animations and motion graphics. And the last one, the one which I'll talk about, is product design. And there's a very specific reason as to why I call it product design and not UX. So there is this notion in the industry that like there are like these roles which says UI designer, UX designer, right? So my personal belief is that if you are a designer, you can't just do only UI, you can't just do only UX. There are people who do that, but my personal belief is that you gotta do both. And if you don't do both, you're just not like designing a great experience, right? So that's why I prefer calling it as product design and not UI UX. So yeah, product design is what we are gonna be talking about. So let me start the whole thing with like a story as to like how I got started with design, right? So before like I joined TVS, I think this was back in like 2016, and if you have heard about Unacademy, I don't know if you have heard, but yeah, Unacademy was like a very new startup, and I really felt like okay, this is going to be like a game changer in industry and everything, which they became eventually. But like I was there for like a short while in an tech company, so I think I learned with Untitled for like 2 months, and I applied for a role where I had no design experience. I didn't even have a college education. Like I had not started in 3 years. Like I was not even in first year. So the great thing about this was that I got a role where I wasn't exactly skilled or expert to do it, but I was given the opportunity to do it, right? So, which was like, again, design. And what this allowed me was, I met this really great designer called as Rajat, who actually runs his own agency or studio today from Pune. This is kind of where like, I learned about like what design tools or how you get started with design and everything. And Rajat used to make these amazing illustrations, amazing motion graphics. And I was like, dude, I also want to do that. How do I do it? Right? And the only thing he told me was that just get started with like some of the tools or something. And the tool which like I chose was like Adobe Illustrator. And if you see something about Adobe Illustrator is that it looks very familiar to like how Photoshop looks. So what I was talking about, like how photography and like, Photoshop and everything became an unfair advantage. So this is where I kind of started playing the role, right? It took me just like like probably like a few hours to get used to Adobe Illustrator and just get started with it, right? And that's kind of how my design journey started. And after my internship, I landed. Okay, wait. I think I missed few slides. Cool. So it's really just about starting somewhere. As I kept mentioning, start somewhere. Start with one tool. It's literally just about trying different things, right? For me, before I decided I want to do product design, I had tried graphic design, motion design, illustration, everything, right? It was really just for me to understand what is that I would like, and and this is like a concept in design that the best designs come through multiple iterations. So even like this presentation which I made, I think it went through at least like 4 iterations before I landed on this thing and I was like, okay, this is the design I want to go forward with. I made like at least like 4 iterations. So it's really just about iterations and something which a lot of designers who get started faces is that if their first design is not great, they kind of feel like, oh, I probably don't know how to design, or oh, I probably can't do this. It's really not like that. The first designs aren't meant to look bad, right? It's really about the, the designs which come later which look great. So yeah, my suggestion for anyone who's getting started with design is to keep trying and trying and fail again and try again, right? Yeah, got cool. So the more I kept failing at designing, right, I tried things like illustrating and all these things. I wasn't great at it, but the better I kept getting at design, right? Then years happened. So I landed at years, and I think this is like a very weird thing which I've never noticed in any college. But ES has this thing where on the first month of college, as soon as you land, there's like a fest. And when there is a fest, I think it's called TAS or something. I don't remember. Sorry. No, I think it was called TAS where they invite schools or something. And yeah, exactly that one. So yeah, this was like the first fest which was happening. And like any fest, you always feel like the first year straight for multiple things that you do. And that's kind of when this senior asked bunch of us do you know how to design, and I was like, yeah, I think I can. Actually didn't know how to design, but I took it up anyways, right? Because that's what it's really about trying. So I did like a bunch of things. I started with tasks, and then somewhere around I was pretty much designing for like every single event that was happening in college. They weren't great designs, but again, it's really all about trying and failing and getting better, right? So that's kind of what happened. Then I went to icing. So I was part of the college events only for like a year, and after that I pretty much stopped working with any college events. Has anyone heard about icing? Or is anyone from icing? Okay, no problem. So it's like a non-profit organization, very similar to like a college club and everything, right? So there are like a bunch of things that you can do in ICT, you can be involved in sales and marketing, you can be involved in finance, you can be involved in people management and stuff. So contradictorily, I was in no way involved in design as per my role in ICT. So I was actually doing marketing and people management. But somehow, everywhere I went, I ended up designing. And I was part of it right till the end of my college, which is like until like my 4th year or something. And that's when I realized hey, I started with design. Then I tried my hand a bit with marketing. Then I tried my hand a bit with people management. And no matter where I went, I ended up designing, right? And the best part about all this is this concept of snowball effect, or to put it in very simple terms, compounding effect. Does anyone know what compounding effect is? Yeah, and how does that happen? Okay, very simple answer, but okay, let me try to break it down, right? So let's take example of Warren Buffett and a normal person, right? Usually a normal person tend to reach their 30s and they realize, okay, I need to save money now for like, retire or whatever. And that's when they start investing, right? And Warren Buffett was someone who started investing very, very, very early in his, life, which is at 10 years old. And yeah, I just can't imagine how someone got into investing at 10 years old. But yeah, let's get back to it, right? So by the age of 20, right, you see Warren Buffett's net worth was already $1 million. And if you adjust it to today's inflation and everything, it was like 9.3 million or something, or probably more like inflation is going. But the normal person, right, at the age of 30, their net worth is probably like $25,000, which is not a lot, right? Um, and an average human being, right, they tend to stop investing for 60 because they stop working and they get retired or whatnot, right? But one Buffett is to still see him, keep making investments and all these things, right? So if roughly if you had to think, who do you think would be who do you think would have higher net worth, but probably by what margin? Yeah, but can you probably guess the multiple or something like that?
Say 1,000%. Let's just say 1,000%.
Okay, cool. I actually don't know the answer, but let's find out. But yeah, let's say both of them earned 22% annual returns every year. Warren Buffett's net worth is $84.5 billion, and the normal person's net worth would be somewhere around 12. So I'm pretty bad at math. Don't ask me about that, but yeah. So why am I talking about this, right? Why am I talking about finance when I'm calling you all for designing talk and everything? Because this compounding effect is not limited just to money. It's limited to every single thing that you do as well, right? So it can be something you can equate it to something like exercise, you can equate it to something like reading books, and you can also equate it to design, right? And yeah, so that is what I want to talk about. That there's literally no such thing as a magic bullet design, which is if you do this thing, you're gonna be a great designer, or if you do this thing, you're gonna be a great designer. Which is a common thing, which operating I've noticed is all these edtech companies which keep selling courses, right? They tell that become a product designer or become a UI designer in 4 hours or something like that. It doesn't work like that, right? Because it takes a ton of practice. The reason I could get better I was good at product design was the fact that I made so many bad graphic design and visual design when I was in PS, when I was in ISEC, all these places, right? Everywhere that I went. And that is kind of what really helped me get good at product design. So I'm talking so much about a lot of other things before I talk about product design. Because I feel these things are important. I feel these things are always something which get missed out because nobody talks about how much practice it takes for you to become a good designer. Nobody talks about how there are certain things about you which you can use to become a great designer, right? So yeah, until now it was really random things. Right? I was doing illustrations, graphic design, visual design, whatnot. But I started doing this thing called as freelancing, which is basically I make designs for you and give me certain amount of money for that. And until now it was fine. In college, even if you make a design which is okay-ish, but it works, people did it. Nobody questions did this design actually help us get probably people into this event or people into that event, right? But it's different when you work with businesses because people then start really asking us that what is it that you actually do? And I have the same question, which is what does product design even do? Or what does UI design even do? And the first thing I thought was, okay, we probably design screens, right? Design screens or design wireframes. But does it stop there? Do you think it stops there? Any one of you, like, do you think, like, product design is like, or you actually, like, probably like answer this question for me, which is like, what the hell is product design? Like, what do people do? Like, any, again, there's like no such thing as like a stupid answer or something. So just go ahead and
Products went from something from a spec into something like an engineer's stage. You don't look at it. Because you deliver something from spec to a more detailed spec that engineers will use to deliver that.
okay, that's a way of thinking about it, right? Which is like, saying like, I was given a problem statement. I'm supposed to design something and the engineers will implement it. Okay, that's one way of thinking about it, right? Which is again, if you think about it, it's like thinking like, okay, am I designing screens at the end of the day? Or you might go like, think a bit more deeper and say like, am I designing like experiences? Am I designing something that feels like a good user experience, right? But it's really more than that. It does not stop at designing great screens or making great visual design or having like an amazing user experience. The biggest role which product design plays is that it creates solutions which achieves business goals. And this is like my personal take on what product design is, that if you're not achieving your business goals or your product goals, then you're failing as a designer or as a designer, right? So where does product design actually stand, right? In your company, where do you think, who all do you think of product designer works?
The VM and the front end folks usually
There is some.
the VM and the product and the front end folks.
Okay, but why is it front end? Like, why do you think like back end is not modern design? Okay, I mean, I'm just answering this way. But what do you think like of product manager?
Access the coordinate and helps check out the project.
Okay. Okay, but tell me this, like, today, like, you have an app. Let's say it's week. Okay. Let's talk about speaking, right? Who do you think decides, like, this feature needs to go up? Like Swiggy recently started with Instagram, right? Like, not recent, like probably a year or longer. But yeah, they decided that, Instagram should have. Who do you think decides this?
See you at center.
Okay, but like, what is that team called? You can call it a board meeting.
The product name. Both product name.
Okay, fair enough. So in usual, at least in startup, it was just simply called as a business team, right? These are people who decide like, what should go out and how does this stack up or make sense in design, right? And once this is like, done, like once the business decides, is when a product manager gets involved. And this is actually when the product designer also starts taking a role where like, both of them start thinking like, is this a valid idea? Is this like, something which the users would want? Or like what kind of users would want this, right? That's what like, product managers get involved. Then like once you have like, figured out what is it that you want to solve, you start making these designs. And you make these designs and like, it's all good to go. And so I just got like a product trial meeting. But yeah, that which involves like, again, product designers and product managers, right? The next thing we should do is like, once you know what is that you want to design, once you have designed what is it that you do, you start working with engineers to actually implement this, to implement these features. And once like, it's implemented, it does not stop there. A lot of people feel like, once you take a feature like, from the problem statement to like, execution stage, whether it's like, live on app or website or whatever, it does not stop there. You need to start working with like, your growth team and again, like, the product and growth teams to understand like, is this feature actually working? Is this working or not working? What can we do to improve it? Again, it's really all about iterations, right? It's about doing multiple things. So how do you create these solutions, right? So has anyone heard about something like design thinking or like a design process? The word design process.
Yeah, design thinking and design process.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what do you think design process or design thinking is?
It's generally just like trying to come up with creative ways to solve the idea, like sorry, the problem statement. And just thinking of ways you can get around like some restraints. You have the like you said maybe that you have this restraint that restraints. So you have to come up with a creative design that is functional but also like fit follows the rules.
Yeah. That's a great answer. I'll try to explain what design process is and how does it play like a role in product design and everything. Right. So I told right businesses like our main like business usually involves the CEO, a bunch of other people who are working directly with the senior executives, right? They decide that this feature needs to happen. This feature makes sense today in today's market for us to grow, right? And what does the product design start doing? Which is like user research, understanding does this even make sense? And there are a bunch of different research which you can do, which is first understanding and validating the market, which is usually and there are there are usually two types of research which is adopted, which is a qualitative research and quantitative research. Like how many times have you got a survey, someone asking, can you give a review about this or something? What kind of research do you think this is? Is it quantitative or qualitative? Exactly, it is quantitative because you're taking the opinion or the what a person thinks about, like can be anything, right? Whatever that you're working on. In a quantitative manner, which is if I send a survey out to all of you and ask you how do you think this session was? That's with obviously ratings with 1 to 5 how would you rate the session? That's a quantitative research, right? But let's say I pick someone, someone from the crowd, and once the session is done, I sit down with that person, I try to ask them, what do you think? What did you think about the session? How do you think it could have been improved? How do you think? What do you think I should have done better? Was my slides good? Was my slides bad? Do I need to talk about a few more topics? Something like that. That is qualitative research, right? You are sitting with one person trying to understand how all these things play out, right? And once this is done, it's really vital to understand when you define a problem statement, right? So often this happens a lot where companies build something which nobody wants. They feel people want it, but end up building it anyway because they don't research or probably they didn't understand the market enough. So have you heard about slice? Like the slice card. I think I was talking to someone about slice cards before the session started. It's like a buy now, pay later card. It's almost like a credit card, right? You've heard about it, right? Okay, good. So, did you know what slides did before this? I think probably sometime 2016 or something. You know what slides did? So, slides at that time used to do something where they used to help students like me and you get EMIs for purchasing things online without a credit card. And that's what they used to do. And if you know, you all are students, so you obviously know, right? You would know that it's not a great idea because as a student you're always cash crunch or your source of money or whatever is going to be your parents. And if some of you probably freelance or something, it's probably that. But at the end of the day, you're more or less likely to be cash crunch, right? That's why they probably at some point they realize okay, this is not working or we probably need a different problem statement that we should try to solve for this market or try to solve for our users. And that's probably when they realize okay, buy now pay later makes more sense than a lot of people struggle to get a good credit card or try to figure out what kind of credit card should they get. What if you just create a card with no hidden charges and all these things, right? And And that is really about like defining problem statement. Where like both product designers and product managers get involved in doing. Next comes is like ideate solutions, right? Okay, if I want to solve this problem, right, which is like okay, sites today wants to move from whatever they were doing to like creating this buying behavior card, right? How should the app look like? How should the card look like? Right? All these things are something which you ideate, as solutions. And the next thing is like once you ideate these solutions, it does not end there. You create these designs and then you do something called as prototyping, which is if I mean you're all engineers, right? You understand like if you have to take something from an idea to execution, it takes a lot of work. But let's say in this thing, like I think it took my team easily like 3-4 weeks to build like this entire flow. And apart from that, 1 month working with like different partners to get this working. I know it's not really visible here, but yeah. But if I had to prototype this, it would, I mean, once I'm done with all the designs, it just takes me 10 minutes to prototype, right? 10 minutes to prototype, and I can go to like, these users and like, talk to them about what they think about this design, right? What is it that they feel? Do they feel that it might be useful for them? Or what part of this thing are they facing issue with, right? Is it easier for them to like do a particular action after looking at this, right? So if we take like slice example, like they'll probably take like a bunch of like prototype, say like put it is this like an easier manner for it to like pay your card bill or like do you understand how the cashback system works and everything? Or they would just probably like try and ask like, can you explain the cashback how it works, right? That's why you know like if your design is actually working or not. And once this is done, you implement this or like you execute this. This is where like you sit down with the engineering teams and like say and start getting these designs like into the product. So usually like everyone talks about this like it's like one line, which is like you do user research, you talk, define the problem, all the things in between, and until you execute. But this is actually like a circle where even after you execute, there are a few things which you realize that okay, this is probably not working. Probably we can make this better. And again go back into the flow where you do like a bunch of research and then you try to execute on that idea. So it's like a continuous process. And that's why if you have noticed like all these apps constantly go through like design changes. Why is it that they do that? It's I mean if you think about it, making like a redesign or a design change is a Herculean task, right? It's not simple at all. There are multiple issues get involved and everything. It's done only because it helps to achieve a particular business goal. And that's really what like product design does. So coming to tools, right? Actually, you pretty much forgot this slide because like I usually keep talking about all the design process stuff that I tend to forget about the tools. So there are multiple tools to work with, like product design, UI/UX design. The first is Sketch. It's the problem with Sketch is I used to personally love Sketch, but it's limited to MacBooks. That's one problem. I come back to Figma. Then there's Adobe XD. I'm personally not a big fan of Adobe XD because I feel it's very limited as software. Then there's Intellivision, which like look like it's going to be gray, but it didn't really end up being that. My personal favorite is Figma. Figma is super simple to use. You can like one of you can actually just open Figma in your browser and actually start using it. You no longer have to like wait to install a particular software and then once the software is working, you get to design it. It's not like that. Figma is so simple that you can just use it from your browser. And it's that simple. It's so accessible for anyone. And it's not dependent on an OS. Like you can run it on Windows, you can run it on Mac, you can run it on Linux. Then there's all these prototyping tools, although like how I told right that prototypes play like a huge role in your design process. But these are like really advanced prototype tools. If I have to use like a simple prototype tool, it's again Figma. You can create very simple prototypes and get your designs started. Yeah. Yeah, so the next part which I'm going to talk about is I also heard that you wanted to understand really about what a product designer does, so that I hope I'm able to cover that part. The next thing is how do you get like a product design job, especially when you have a non-word design school, right? The whole concept of placement suddenly goes away. Like, you have to go figure out your own job, right? So I've actually thought about this a lot, and one thing which I feel is like you need to start with something small, and that's something small which I feel is freelancing. And because in freelancing, you're not just improving your design skills, you're improving a whole lot of holistic skills which are communicating with people, or understanding how to actually get new clients and all these things, right? Uh, it helps you gain some experience, right? So when I was introduced and everything, I was told I have 5 years of experience in design, but according to industry standard, I think I have 1.5. Rest of my experience purely comes by freelancing, right? So which helps you understand how to work with these companies, how to work with these engineers before you actually jump into your actual job. And if you don't want to freelance, it's completely okay. Freelancing is not for everyone. Not everyone enjoys it. I actually stopped freelancing once I started my full-time job because I just simply did not enjoy it anymore. Um, there's another thing which you can do, which is you can pick problem statements, right? And these problem statements can be anything you notice something can we so this used to happen in my college at least, where they started to constructing or something in the middle of something. It was pretty much a construction ground, and they crammed everyone, literally pretty much everyone in the campus in one single building. And that one single building literally had one single canteen. And you should get a break for probably 15 minutes, right? It was terrible. We used to have this entrepreneurship course or whatever, and someone thought about what if you create something where someone's food gets served and they can just go collect it immediately. They can do an online payment or something like that. So it's why am I trying to talk about all this is because it is strictly random problem statements and problems that are around you, and you can try to take these problem statements and actually create a design solution, right? Yeah, if you don't want to do that, if you feel I have all the ideas and everything, that's okay. A lot of companies do this thing where if you different problem statements for take home assignment, you can actually take those problem statements and start working with them, right? And once you create solutions and everything, what is it that you do next? It is really about creating these case studies. So personally, I'm not a big fan of writing case studies, but it's the only way in which you can prove to someone that you actually understand what you're doing as a designer. You know a particular design process, right? So what is really a case study, right? Case study is simple. It's the details about your design process. How did you design on this problem statement? How did you arrive at this? Did you actually test it with particular users? Right? And let me actually show you a bunch of examples of case studies. So this is the first case study that I'm looking at, which is basically, has anyone heard of Gojek? Yeah, so Gojek is this brilliant company. I personally love them. They have an amazing design team. They have an amazing process and everything, and they actually even did their IPO recently, right? So this is something like an Uber equivalent, but for Indonesia, and I think they are in few other Asia Pacific countries. So so this case study is all about how did they try to increase tipping for the delivery executives. This happened around the time of pandemic, where everyone's income was almost half or like went to bare minimum or something. Gojek really wanted to encourage the customers to tip, right? And this whole case study is about how the team at Gojek went through this whole process of understanding why users don't tip. Again, if you see, this is like a quantitative user research. Um, Understanding as to what happens when the whole tipping experience works, right? And creating a solution which would increase the whole tipping aspect, right? And I'll just actually skip to the last part. I'll ensure I share all these links so that you can go through it later. But yeah, there is some part where they talk about, yeah. So if you, I don't know if it's visible on this screen, but so what we talk about is there was a sudden increase of tipping by a factor of 100%, which is like 2x, right? And that is huge in any business, right? That is a proof that the solution which you designed is actually working, right? So this is what really case studies are all about, right? You can pick concept problem statements and create solutions for it, right? Use that case study, intern, get internship or jobs. I'll actually show one more, which is basically about Make My Trip and how Make My Trip had this problem of that design to select a seat on the bus was not a great experience, and how the design team went through the process of fixing this and everything, right? So yeah, that is about case studies. So once you're done with these, writing these case studies, creating these solutions, everything, what is it that you do next, right? You create something like a portfolio website. So a lot of people like to do this thing where they create something on Behance. Personally, I'm not a big fan of Behance or Dribble. That's not the product portfolio, because in a product design role, you really need to explain how you arrived at a particular solution. It's just not about if your designs look great. Your design should look great. That's a must. But how do you arrive at the solution? And does the solution really work at all, right? So yeah, I would suggest creating your own personal website. I'm sure it's everyone here would have a basic knowledge of coding, and you can actually get a website live. And today, creating a website is probably the easiest thing to do. If you're someone who hates coding and who does not want to code their website, that's completely fine. There are multiple no-code tools like Webflow. There is Wix and Squarespace. Personally, not a fan of it. I genuinely love Webflow because it gives you a lot of design freedom. And apart from that, there's a Notion also through which you can create your own personal website. But again, Webflow is my favorite. Yeah, so what is your portfolio website, right? Your portfolio website is a curated version of your best designs, right? The designs that you have done really well. And usually, for a portfolio website, if you have 2 good projects, that's enough. At least to get internship or the first job or anything. So I'll actually show a bunch of portfolios. I'm picking 2 portfolios, which is one is the person I mentioned, Rahul Goradia. He also studied in PS, so he used to work in Zomato, and now he works in Meesho. So his entire portfolio is all the work that he has done, and apart from that, a few of his dribble shots, some really nice designs which he has made. He has done a bit of design writing and everything. Again, these are all extra stuff for you to for you to get a great, for you to get a good job. It really starts with looking at creating these case studies. So if I actually open this, it will be a case study where he talks about the project outcome, etc., etc. I'm showing another designer's portfolio. Her name is Marinesta. She used to work in Microsoft. If I'm not wrong, she left Microsoft. But yeah, she showcases her work, like she's a great 3D illustrator apart from being a great product designer. So she like showcases her 3D illustrations. Apart from that, she has mentioned a bunch of her case studies and everything. So this is really what portfolio website is and everything. The next thing is obviously like how to find a job, right? And I've written like this huge thread on Twitter, like trying to explain. I try to keep like a small version of it and try to explain like how you should do it. It's fairly simple. Um, One thing which I noticed like a lot of college students right make this mistake where when it comes to internship or the first job, they do this mistake where if I want to get an internship, the first thing they look at is like how big is the company and how much am I gonna get paid, right? Which are important factors to consider. I'm not saying it's not, but there are a few other factors which I feel like you should consider more. Which is like if you look at any company, right, these are factors which come into play, like the branding of the company, the manager you will work with, the job description, etc., etc., etc. And among all of this, what I feel is like the most important is optimize for mentorship or like great manager and a great team. And this is actually kind of how I applied for my first job, how I got into our job. And actually has worked out well. I work with like an amazing team who's like constantly helping me also grow. And I also work with like an amazing manager who's like always looking out and who's always ensuring like I'm achieving all my career goals, right? So this is something which I really recommend. Uh, Conversation is important, but at the same time with the conversation, try to accommodate for getting a great manager or like getting a great team. Especially with internship, if it's like if you're gonna get a chance to work with a great design team, please go for it, right? Don't think about anything else. That really makes a difference. Yeah, after this is done, just shortlist 10 companies which fit your criteria. And once this is done, just apply to them. I'm a personal believer of applying for breaking it down into groups and then applying. Because again, it's like an iteration, right? You apply for a company, you do something right, you do something wrong, you realize you do something wrong, you go fix it in next month of interviews. And again, it helps you and at the same time helps you hedge your risk of getting rejected from all these companies. Yeah, what's next? Yeah, it's really just about. I mean, if you haven't already started designing, I would just say just get started. So there are two approaches, right? Before when you do anything, uh, there's this architect approach and then there's archaeologist approach. Um, can like someone explain to me like how an architect works?
Starts from the foundation and builds it. But the other round is archaeology. Like go the other way around. It starts removing the things and goes to the
Okay. So would you say an architect is someone who needs to get everything planned out? So if like let's say an architect is designing this hall, they need to know that there's a stage which is going to come here, right? They need to know that there should be these windows so that there's enough light, there's enough ventilation and everything, right? That's an architect's approach where you know everything that it's all planned. You need to know that what happens on day one to what happens on the last day, right? Which is a great approach, but then there's another approach, which is like an archaeologist approach. Do you think an archaeologist can plan where they have to take, and if they take a particular thing, they will actually get this fossil or whatever the other things that architects take for? No, it's all about you keep digging and you find something and you take some back home, right? That is an archaeologist approach. So when I say get started, is that sometimes what happens is we get stuck in this notion where I have to do this perfectly. I need to know everything about it before I get started. I was personally stuck with this problem where even though I was introduced to UX design, product design, back when I was in the second year of college itself, till 4 year of college, it started with it. Because I was always like, oh, I need to have a what if design is not what I want to do and all these things, right? So I would suggest just get started, right? Use the archaeologist approach where you keep searching for different things and figuring out what is it that you actually like, right? As I said, multiple design categories. And you might pick one to shoot because I pretty much tried everything in that list except game design. Um, I did like 3D illustrations, but I just wasn't my thing. Yeah. After that, once you realize that this is what I want to do, get good at it, get better at it. And how you get better at it is that you keep practicing. You practice more and more, and that's how you get better, right? And that's how you end up in a job. If you're a good designer. And after that is the whole phase of get going, which is I would suggest something that's after you get your first job and everything. It's like a whole probably like a talk or like a session in itself. Uh, but yeah, once you do all of this, don't forget to help people along the way. Even probably 4 years later, if you're a great designer, always try to help people who are just getting started. There are a bunch of people who are trying to understand what design is, how to get started in this and everything. This happens a lot. Once you get a job or once you get a job in a reputed company, you tend to get these LinkedIn messages. People ask how to help, how do I get started in design and everything. I would really suggest try helping them. In the process, you also learn a lot more about design because you will understand so many things which you probably wouldn't know. But at the same time, you're helping someone, right? And that's literally why I do my podcast and my YouTube channel, which is purely to help people again get started with design or help them get better at design. But yeah, this one thing which I feel is every great design or every great designer starts with a story. That's why my podcast is also called as Product Stories because I'm a big fan of the whole concept of stories playing a huge role whatever that you do. And probably the only question I'll leave you all with is what will your story be? And yeah, that's pretty much it. I am done with my session. If you want to get in touch with me, you can tweet me at Twitter. This is my handle. You can get in touch with me. I'm super active on Twitter. I'm active on all the other social media as well, but Twitter is the place where I'll reply to your first. Yeah, we can do questions.
Right. Okay, so if anybody wants to directly ask your questions, then you can please feel free to stand up and ask them. Yeah, we send them to them. So, if you want, then you can stand up and ask your question, get done with the session. Is anybody here who wants to directly ask their question? Okay, that's completely fine. We have a couple of questions on the link.
Okay.
So I'll just open that up. So I'll just tell them to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first question I think we'll take up is the cold emailing and networking as a beginner.
Okay. Okay. See, cold emailing is super simple. This is like my personal belief. When you're designing, you're curating an experience, right? Think about email as an experience as well. If you create an email which is super easy for someone to read, they're more likely to reply. Or if you do something which will catch their attention. So it can be something what you do with the subject line also. So I remember I wanted to apply for this some company which is white on and a back and everything. And this someone had recommended that they have right? So I actually put and these people had actually reached out the other person and they knew that person. That's the reason they had already known. So what it did is that I wrote Chetan recommended me for this role or something like that on the subject line. And I actually ended up getting a reply. I really like this one Snapchat this one person who applied for Snapchat who wrote like a cold email. Can you hold it? I'll just try to find it. Um, oh yeah, this one. Do you all recognize Evan Spiegel? He is like the CEO of Snapchat, right? And I don't know if you can read this. Yeah, I'll try to read it out. It says simple, like the email literally has like three different points, which is, hey, my name is Neil Span. I understand your time is valuable. I'll only write three bullet points. Programming since eighth grade, have some experience with Java, Object C, Android, iOS. Want to intern for Snapchat this summer as a high school junior. How something? Thanks, Neil. And he actually got a reply. So cold email is really just about understanding as to what is it that you want and putting it like very 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 simple terms. Did I answer the question?
Yeah. So I think the next question we go for is: are there any resources that you recommend for good designers?
Okay. Resources is a very broad term.
Yeah. So since we don't have like a proper subject that teaches us all this, is there some place that we can go to learn all this?
Okay. So there's something called as design resources. Like literally, the website name is design resources, and you can go here like look at a bunch of things. Like I was talking about Webflow. Webflow is here. Figma is here. There's something called as Mobbin. Mobbin is basically like this website which has like a collection of all the screenshots from like different apps. This has Netflix screenshots. This has Messenger screenshots. This has Gojek screenshots also, right? So. Design resources is a website I would recommend. There are like bunch of YouTube channels also here. You can try learning from there. There are like a bunch of blogs also which you can learn from. So yeah, that's the resource which I would recommend.
Alright. So next we go for you give an example for something that's considered a bad design, something that you should for sure not do when you're designing.
Okay. This is very subjective. Because it actually varies from industry to industries. But let me try to make like an example. Maybe talk about accessibility, right? So right now, okay, this screen is fine, but the moment I switch to another screen, almost like nothing is visible, right? Because the contrast ratio is low, right? If the previous screen which I went to where I was trying to talk about the screenshot, some of the black is visible, the rest, most of the white stuff is like mostly invisible. Right? So this has something to do with contrast ratio, which is like just a small topic in accessibility, and mostly according to me, any bad design is something that again as I talked, fundamentally does not solve like a business problem. And apart from that is like a design which is not accessible. Right? There are a lot of people who have color blindness. Color blindness is actually a lot more common than we think. So if you're designing something which is like not easily readable or something like that, those are bad designs, right? So now there's this website called as Design. Actually, if you go through it, like they take like an immersive case study where like they talk about like different products and talk about some of the mistakes that they're doing. So that way you will understand like some of the bad design decisions that are made and stuff. So it's not a single answer. I would say it's a collection of things. So yeah.
Okay, so someone asking how do they tell if they're not fit for a job as a designer, even though they do like it? How do they decide if they do cut for the job or not?
I mean, okay, so uh, this is like a very common thing with college students, right? Which is like not just college students, with humans in general, which is like we keep self-rejecting, which is like we say okay that company will probably like not never accept me, or I mean let me probably like take an example which you all might understand better. If you want to date someone, right? Uh, Even before you ask that person, you just be like, oh, I don't think that person would ever like want to be with. They're just self-rejecting. So what I say is like let people reject you a bit, let companies reject you. Rejections help you get better, right? So I mean, it just really comes down to whether you want to give up or not, right? It's not about you are like a fundamentally a bad designer or something. It's just you need a lot more practice and you'll get better. Few people have a good eye for design, like a good taste for design and all these things, but that is their unfair advantage. Your unfair advantage is like you practice a hell lot of design and you just get better at it.
Okay. The question is it important to study to get into this field? Do you need a postgrad degree to make sure you get better?
See, I'm not against design schools. Few people are. I'm not. If you want to go to a design school, go for it. It's a great experience. But they're fairly expensive. But if you're asking me, like, is design school a must for me to become a designer? I work in a company which has, at the moment, 5 designers. Of the 5 designers, 4 are product designers, 1 is an illustrator. And only 3 of them have gone. I mean, 3 of them have never gone to a design school. All of us are engineers. 1 has gone to a design school, but he did not study product design. He studied motion graphics, and the other person studied fashion, and she's an illustrator. So, yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I think it's the good thing about design is that you have a portfolio to showcase. You can, like, nobody can say, like, oh, you're not a great designer. If someone says you're not a great designer, you just show them your portfolio, and I'm like, I don't think so. I'm a great designer. I'm a work here, right? And that solves it. So I don't think it's necessary, but I've heard it's a great experience. So if you want to do it, if you have, like, a lot of cash to spare, go for it.
Someone's asking, can you give some suggestions on how to get into freelancing?
Okay, so I love this topic. So there are 2 ways of getting to freelancing. One is you apply on, like, all these freelancing websites, Upwork, freelancer.com, 99 Designs, Fiverr, etc., etc. That's one way of getting into freelancing, where, like, there are, like, a lot of other designers competing for, like, a similar opportunity or something. I mean, it's one way of design. I never did that, but I just felt like it was a huge task for me to, applying for these opportunities and then accepting it and me negotiating all these things. I just didn't want to do it. The second one is just tap into your network, right? I think my first freelancing gig came from my own brother's company, where they wanted me to design something or something. It was called Tapchi, then it got acquired by Academy and became E11. But yeah, that was my first freelancing gig. My first freelancing gig came from family. And after that, it came from, like, a bunch of college seniors who were starting a company, they wanted designers or something. Or someone was selling merchandise and they wanted to design it, they wanted to pay me for that. After that, it became my side network. So yeah, there are 2 ways. Go through the freelancing websites or tap into your network. Both are great ways, depends on what you want to do.
I think one last question is, you said that it's important to see the managers as well as the design team of a company. So how do you tell that a company has both these things? How do you tell they have a good design team or a manager?
Okay, so it comes down to, like, I would suggest, like, if you look at a team, right? And even before team, I would say look at a company, right? Does this company value design, right? If I have to pick something like, let's say, delivery, right? Delivery is a courier company. This is a logistic company. They're like an operations first company. They don't care about design. They don't care how the quality counts are, like, how you can see, like, where your delivery or courier is. They don't care. It's not a design person. But if you take something like Sweden, or if you could talk about release also. These are companies which really value design. Like Razorpay made it so simple to accept payments that it is a design first company. There are a lot of other factors in that, but Swiggy especially is a design first company. Their design is their unique advantage, right? Apart from their operations delivery and all, being their unique advantage. Um, at least in the B2C facing, the design plays like a huge role. That's one way for you to shortlist companies, saying is it a company I want to work in, is it a company I don't want to work in? By just understanding does this company value design or not? The next thing that you do is go to LinkedIn, figure out who are all people who work in that design team and everything. Few companies have dedicated pages just for their design team. Like if you have heard of Urban Company has a very nice dedicated page for their design team, what their design, how their design team functions and everything. When a company deliberately puts out so much content to talk about how they work and how much they value design, it's an easy way to figure out that this company actually values design, right? And more or less, if this company values design, they also they have great design managers and they have great design team because they value enough to get a design. Usually, there's this concept which a lot of designers talk about is design does not get a seat on the table, which is I was talking about business, right? Where product design falls with business rather than doing stuff. Business is basically that C-level executive where all the important decisions of the startup or the product is done. For the longest design did not have a seat at the table. It just used to be designers used to be self-pushers. I tell you what to do, what to do. You do that, right? But it's no longer that. More and more companies have started realizing that design is extremely important. And they've also given that table and they value design to all these things. So usually when that happens, they tend to have good design managers, they tend to have good design teams and everything. Yeah, that's how I was shortlist. And after a while, you just get to know who are good design teams, who are bad design. The startup ecosystem in India is so freaking small. You might think it's huge, but it's really small because firstly, most of these companies are designing for the top 1% or 2-3% of India, and these design teams probably belong to 0.1% of the population of India. So it's very small world.
Right. I think we covered all the upvoted messages. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so one thing I want to ask is, so design usually in today's world very prevalent in B2C businesses, but where does it find its place in B2B businesses? So most designs are customer facing, website, end user facing. So in a B2B business, where do you say product design would find its spot?
I would say it still plays a huge role. It's just that B2C design is a little more flashy, right? When you make a design change or make a really good design, people hop on Twitter, people hop on LinkedIn and see about how beautiful this design is, right? That's why you see a lot of people talk about how beautiful Red's design is. It is. It's not. It's not like it isn't. But you don't see a lot of people talk about razor pages like that because it's kind of like a B2B company. It's predominantly works with merchants or predominantly works with the razor page product, which predominantly works with startup founders and stuff. Right? If you're on Twitter, you know about the startup founders who use razor page. They read a lot about it. It's just that those startup founders are so less that you just never end up hearing about it. Video design is extremely important. And I mean, if you think about it, Microsoft is an enterprise company. They value design a lot as well. Google somewhat is like an enterprise company too, right? Some of the products which Google runs is enterprise, is B2B. So it's really just about taking a bit deeper and design plays a role in many forms of business.
I think one more good question just for is there any place where you can put up your work so you can get it reviewed or get some feedback on it?
Okay, So, I mean, there are these platforms like Dribble, Behance, etc. But if you're looking for like a one-to-one feedback or something, there's something called as ADP list. Called ADP list. Yeah, where you can like book mentorship with bunch of these. Cool. You can book like mentorship or like review calls with like a bunch of designers and get your portfolio reviewed and all these things, right? And more, if I'm not wrong, it's completely free. All the mentorships. If there are few paid ones, it's okay. Just ignore them. Go for like the free ones. Try to get on call. Try to understand how you can start your career and all this. Or if you just want like a simple feedback or a case study and stuff. I've actually personally given like feedback to a lot of people who reached out to me and stuff. I usually can't give all of them, but like I think I tried whichever I can. But yeah, you can reach out to people and get feedback. I think that is better. You can always do the whole triple route, the answer, or medium logs and everything. But I feel like you won't necessarily get like good feedback from them. It's just like upload or download. Like if I just get everyone here to upload for one of my case studies, it does not necessarily mean that my case study is great. It just means I called people to upload.
I think one last question we take is, where do you get inspiration for making your designs?
Okay, so it depends. This so designers tend to do this for you ask them any question, the first thing they say is it depends. Right? I'm like a I keep doing this. But yeah, so coming to very fun illustrations, right? So something like illustrations and all these things you can find it on Dribble. Something like for specifically, let's say you're building a landing page, there's something called as landing folio page. You can go there, look at a bunch of different landing pages and design jobs. If you're designing product UIs and all these things, there's always more. So the design resources website is I recommend it. That pretty much has all of these resources which I'm talking about. So you'll never run out of inspiration or anything. And at the same time, once you start designing, right, you also become someone who gets better at observing things. Like when you're using a particular app and you notice something designed very well, you start to try and notice it. So that is another way of inspiration. You can always look at different products, how they do it and stuff. So yeah.
I think that's what it is. Unless somebody else has any question on us. I think that's it. Right, so thank you everybody for joining today's session. Thank you for showing up here and giving us such a wonderful session. I think you cleared every good slide. Thank you all for answering everything I was asking and for actually asking such relevant questions. It was very nice. And for us, at least in college, if you can always reach out to sir, but if in college you are want any help, we have our clubs, we are raising, we are
Yeah.
you can always come to us.
And one thing is you don't have to call me sir, and I think I'm just 24, so don't take me too seriously.
Okay, so that's about it from us today, but we still have movies for all of you, so don't run away yet. And that's it.